the pillars are where you are able to break down themes, if you like, in your marketing. So I'm going to give you an example of our pillars, and you can see how we are starting to define our content more clearly into these pillars. So, for example, Susan, you're a photographer. So one of the pillars of your business is that you are able to capture. Photography obviously is a pillar. So that's like coaching is a pillar for us, right? It's a tangible expression of your skills. So for example, Rachel, interior design would be one of your pillars. So we have coaching as a pillar. So it's a skill set. I'll give you an example of our pillars so that you can help define your pillars. So we have a pillar for money, right? Because money mindset is a deep dive area that I have a high skill set in helping people to overcome. Sales is a deep dive area that I have a high skill set in people to overcome. We have programs in both of those areas. Coaching, as I said, is another one. So they're like skill sets, tangible skill set. But then we also have mindset training. So the Navy SEAL training. So that neuroflow, which goes across everything that we do, but it's particularly in the area of getting into flow and mindset. So that is one of our pillars. Prophetic is one of our pillars because prophetic is a definite point of difference in how we coach and lead and change and help people get faster breakthrough. So they are all pillars, and brand, Signature Kingdom brand is a pillar. So we have quite a number of pillars because I've been in business a long time. I don't suggest or recommend that you have so many pillars because I've been building these deep oil wells for a long time in each area. So I have depth in each area. But if you're going to be known as an expert, you don't want to have too many different things. You want one product or offer as you're starting until you're ready to scale up to the next one. And you want people to know you for the particular areas that you are particularly good at. So for example, let me just give you an example. So Rachel, you have interior design, but you also have what is this spiritual gift? So you also have like that gift to see, like a prophetic gifting. So for you, yes. So the prophetic would be a pillar. And then the other part for you would be like, for example, your mission. So your mission around wanting people to be paid well to create product and the artisans and to be able to influence them. So that's sort of part of your mission. But your pillar is also like, how do you do it differently? So what is it that you teach people? What stands out as the way that you can help people with, say, for instance, seeing, so you're consulting with your interior design and you help people see that they have that confidence or that ability to create, right? So I feel like that ability to create would be a pillar, but you might want to define it a bit more succinctly than that. Tell me if that would be a pillar for you or not. So Sarah, like you've had the mindset training, you've had the army training. So that would be, I feel like, a pillar for you. It's kind of easy to draw on that story of your military experience. That would be a pillar because it's part of your message that's unique and different. And then your coaching would be a pillar, like your mindset coaching. So Susan, with your photography, one of the things that is a pillar for you is the fact that you can see people story and bring it out. So that would, to me, is a high pillar for you. So when I talk about these pillars, I want you to define later on your own pillars, and I want you to just give yourself 3 to 5 pillars. I prefer you to have 3, but if you're creative, you may have more, but I don't want you to have too many. And the reason why I don't want you to have too many is because think of them as like, and see how I've drawn it? It's like a line, and then there's little dots below. So we have a lot, but I'm practiced. I've had a lot of practice at articulating all these different areas for many years. So I want you to be highly focused and honed in on the pillar that you are going to communicate in your messaging and your marketing. So if you say it's mindset with one, like how to be more creative, or it might be telling your story. So Susan, telling your story. Lisa, it might be healing. So when you pick your pillar, that is going to influence the content, and your content is going to go under the pillars. So for example, I'm just going to write mine down so you can get an example. Okay, I'll just put a few of mine up. So I've got mindset, sales, and money. They're all individual pillars under our NeuroFlow brand, under our that influence all of our programs. So when I do my content, and you might have noticed we've started to do this, I'm going deep dive into, when I say mindset, really I call it flow and focus. So I started to do a deep dive where we're spending 1 month on one pillar. So we're going, mindset is for 1 month, one pillar, and just talking deeper into that particular topic. So what it does, and then we have brand for a month, and then we have sales for a month. Now you've got to be patient if you're going to do this, because you want to tell everyone everything at once, right? But what it's going to do for you is going to position you as an expert, because people who are discerning and who want to spend money on a coach or a service provider or a consultant, they want to know that you have a deep experience. They don't want to hear surface level across multiple things. They want depth. So it will cause you to go deeper into the particular pillars and help you to define them and put that monthly focus on one pillar. So step 1 is define your pillars. And I want you to actually just off the top of your head, put 3 pillars into the chat. Now it's not written in blood. You can go back and think about it later, but I feel like the most instinctive ones that come to mind are probably going to be your best pillars to focus on. And so I want you then to have a monthly focus on each pillar, so that when you're talking, if I'm talking about Signature Kingdom brand, the conversations, the interviews, the emails that I'm doing, my content is going to be focused on Signature Kingdom brand. What is it? What does it look like? How do you define the signature? What is brand about? So it's all about brand. I'm not talking about selling. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about, I do go into mindset a bit because that's part of the signature piece. So I want you to be very, and look, I find this challenging because I've got so many different areas that we work across. So I want you to pick one pillar that you're going to start with, and I want you to get content together that relates to that one piece of information. And the best one that you can pick is to think about what is your unique point of difference that nobody else knows that you know. And so I feel like it's really easy, like Susan, you know how to help people express their story. Rachel, you have the thing about mindset with interior design. Sarah, you have experience in how to think, you know, how to change your mindset in an area where there's trauma, or there's been the discipline part of it that you've learned, what you've seen in what you've done. Lisa, healing is obvious to me for you. So if you pick your number one thing, that is going to be your thought leadership. That is going to be the thing that you know and understand better than anyone else. And that is what's going to start to position you as a category leader and an expert. Remember that when we tell them things that they don't know, that you know, people get intrigued. You're starting to capture inspiration. Remember the marketing grid: inspiration, education, talking about your story, talking about your struggle. And so think about your pillars, because I'm going to put you in a breakout room in a moment. I'm going to get you to share your pillars with each other. And then the next piece that I wanted to talk to you about, and this is the last piece before we do the breakout room, is I want you to think about the vehicles. So I want you to think about deep dive, deep dive into a particular area. So if you're trying to be in multiple places at once, which we all are trying to do, first of all, I want you to think and ask God about this. What is your primary focus area? Now, it's not that you're not going to use your content in different places, because you can disseminate it. And I'm going to give you some links to some AI tools that I've just come across, and I haven't used them yet, but they look really amazing for breaking down video content, for example, into multiple different ways so that you can easily break it down. Now, a lot of them are free and then they become paid. So you're going to have to decide which one is going to be the best for you, because some of them are similar and some have different benefits than others. But I will post the AI tools that help you to break down video content, for example. And what it does is it picks it out and says, okay, here's one for a story. Here's one for a 5-minute, you can sort of ask some of them how long you want it for. So it can pull out some of your Zooms and your training into different amounts of content. So now with all this AI, we've got to take hold of that technology, but not be overwhelmed by it. So I want to recommend that if you're going to do something that you want to put on your podcast, on your YouTube, and then on your lives, I want you to be really smart about it. One time, duplicated many times over. And this is a mistake I've made that I've learned to become better at. And what I want you to do is I want you to be intentional about what's your one pillar that you're going to focus on. So first, define your 3 pillars. Secondly, pick your first one. There's no right or wrong, right? But go with the thing that's most unique about you, that you know the most about, that you're most comfortable talking about. And then I want you to decide how you're going to create content. So creating content could be just a free coaching group or a paid coaching call where you're going to explain your one thing. And if you think about the one thing, I want you to think about, if I was to ask you, what is it that you know about interior design and how people can do it that no one else knows? So what's the one thing? So let's just break it down and not feel pressure on it, but just break it down and go, what's the one thing that you know about what you've learned? What's one thing that you've learned? What's one thing that you've struggled with? And what's one thing that you know? And I want you to just pay attention to one area here. And you don't have to know all this right now. This is just for you to have some guidelines to proceed with your marketing so that you don't get so caught in all of the things. Because if you're feeling pressured, it's because your brain is going to multiple different things. I'm not asking you to define everything right now. All I'm asking you to do right now is pick one thing that you know that you're really good at. And that's what you're going to talk about. So when you think about how you're going to disseminate this information, you might say, okay, now this is how I would do it. So I've got a lot of content in my head because I've learned a lot and I'm old. So if you think about, if someone asked you, what is it that you know about what you do that nobody else knows? I want you to put that in the chat. What's one thing that you know that no one else knows? And then if you are intentional about, I'm going to talk about this one thing for a month, what it's going to do is it's going to make you do a deep dive into that one thing, and you're going to get revelation about that one thing. And so if you say, I'm going to send out, even 2 emails a month or 4 or whatever doesn't stress you out, right? Better to do 2 than none. And I'm going to share 3 tips on this one thing that I know. Over the next month, I'm going to share 3 tips, and I'm going to share it twice in 2 emails over the month. And then I'm going to take those exact 3 tips, and I'm going to do a Zoom call about them, because the good thing about doing a Zoom call is that you can record it, save it, and then chop it up. If you do a live, and you want to be doing short lives, but if you do a live, it's harder to pull down those videos out of Facebook. So You want to do lives within your private groups because you want to get engagement there. But what I would suggest you do in the live is do like a very, very mini version and say, hey, if you want to see this whole thing, I've got a 30-minute call I did on it. And then you can put the link to the call, or you can send the call out in an email. And so what you want to do is you want to be making it that you create the content once and then you disseminate it in different ways, rather than you're jumping over here doing a live and then you're jumping over here and you're writing an email. I want you to be patient and come back and get a Google Doc and write down all your ideas about that one pillar that you know. Yeah. So then you can, so basically you're breaking down the mega goal, the big goal. The big goal is you're going to be doing content each month that's specifically related to one topic. And then that one topic is going to help solve a problem. Remember the grid, you're solving a problem. You're telling a story about how you overcame it. You're inspiring people. Yeah, just one topic, pick one topic to start with, because what we want to do is get you in the habit of working on one pillar and then creating a process that isn't going to drive you insane when you're doing your marketing. So you're picking one topic and then you're going to say, right, I'm going to do 2 emails a month on that one topic. I'm going to pick 3 things that I know about that topic, 3 tips. Doesn't even have to be a long email, right? You don't even want it to be a long email. Just 3 tips that you know. And then from there, that then gives you the content for you to create a Zoom call, and you go, on this Zoom call, I'm going to share 3 tips about how to get more confidence in telling your story, or I'm going to share 3 tips on how to have a better mindset, or I'm going to share 3 tips on how to get healing, or I'm going to share 3 tips on how to help you get confidence in making your house a beautiful place. So I'm going to share 3 tips about how to be more focused as a leader. For example, Justin, you in a leadership role, you can use this at work and build your brand. So as you pick this one pillar, remember, one pillar, not 3. I don't want you to think about all of them at once. I want you to try to list them, but all I want you to do is go deep with one, deep dive with one.